Yeah, so I'll show you. Someone would
instead of it firing faster, it doesn't pull, so it feels that frame, so you don't get that black bar. A lot of newer lights will have that technology. This is
that's one of those that when you're trying to notification to that and So if we just shuffle right it round one along. So with this one,
just throw it in the mirror.
Where's the triggers? You got credit. We'll just get these to the on trolley station. So over here, we're basically playing with like a nice. Trying to bring light to the start. Let's have a little better over that. The setting, the thing where they can. Thank you. Just have a look at that and then I'll put the softbox in and show you the difference. And then we'll give you the triggers as well. Just keep that now. And then purely putting in the softbox, which is basically throwing light and bouncing it around inside here. Give us very different softer light.
So I do it just around, and I'm looking at
those like crispier shadows in utility areas. It's like a hard, crispy light, which is sort of desirable. I mean, a lot of my lights like this is my go-to setup, like that. And I usually keep it, if I'm photographing from where you are, I'll keep it here. And closer I can bring it into the subject, the softer that light is going to be. Yeah, it depends if I've got an assistant with me and we're moving around, I can help. If not, on a tripod.
I've got a Manfrotto sort of plain thing.
Yeah, that's the joy of the, I mean, it's not super, but it's nice to have to come in and play around.
But I use mine, it's great for taking photographs of flowers and insects in the garden. Because you can get under the leaves and you can throw up some light in some really dark areas.
So that's a really nice way of doing it. Yes, so it's very soft light coming in. If you wanted to, yes. Yes, similar setup. You probably want to do that. And that way you're able to nice basic one, like the Sony one. Yeah, and the bouncing also like that. You have to really like that. This is
And you're able to obviously get up and so there you go. You can't get anywhere on the front down.
I'm so angry. Even though the one month was 40% crop, it would make it 100 once a month. I didn't want to. So I bought the 5 years old.
So which is what I would do, which surface has to be anyway, but also it's
Put it
that's
before. Is there
That's-
anything
yes.
else you've done to position it there?
no, that's all completely natural. There is no cotton wool or plasticine or blue tack. It's completely edible. Yeah, it's how I like to do things really. Sometimes you need a bit of help.
You can. In fact, I'll send you. I did one earlier. Are you keeping is everything else the same?
Yeah, everything else is nice texture, aren't they?
So
Nice texture.
you'll probably be where you're
Yes,
one.
basically. Quite nice as well.
Marble. So with that like using it, I always like to bring the like behind like creating like this full like visual sequence and then you're not going to get that detail difference.
Yeah.
But
Getting it into what I'm saying.
like, even if you kept
The ice is natural.
if you then move yourself around, you show it from here to here. So it's like rotations around a certain line will give you pro and con. So then let's say you find like, so you get like a decent back to it. Yeah. But then let's say you like if I need to compensate, just turn the lighting switch on that and just turn it to. It's good to have one of those more teams like those still later seasons. Yeah, they're really nice. Yeah. What aperture would you use? So, what are we on this? So this was shot at.
And how acceptable would that be if you were to...
So if I was doing that for a client, it depends on who the client is, but for sort of magazine or editorial, they would ask if they had one that's the main, my eye leads straight into the middle of that and it'd be in focus. But that's at f4 and you've got like the back of the board here right to sort of the middle of the front is all in focus. So if we went to f7.1 or f8, like everything would be fine. But the only problem you then start to have is your background becomes more in focus as well. So a way around that is if you had to get everything in focus, there's two ways of doing it. One is focus stacking, which is a series of focal points and then you blend it all together, which I've never done, I think it takes too long. The other thing would be to move the subject and the camera as far this way as we can, so the background's even further away.
And keeping your background simple.
Yeah, always keep, yeah.
Be really
No, because again, even if that was a bit more in focus, the only things that you start to see is the bars from the frame outside. So I just prefer to bring the subject and the camera further away from the background, and then that way you can still maintain the focus effect, which is quite nice to use.
Can you blur that with the background separate? Do you know or something?
You can in Photoshop. Yeah, so in Photoshop you can go in and copy this out. I don't know. I can try it and see. Let's have a look. It might be that I feel that sometimes if you start to do that, your pictures, if it's very subtle, it's okay. But if you go over the top, you start to lose that clarity.
But so I always like to see it. It's worth having a look. Like, 2 seconds on this. So, I was saying to someone earlier about using Photoshop. I use mainly Lightroom, and this is my favourite button, Content Aware Fill, because it pretty much just picks up everything around it and tries to piece together, and like it's not far off. But I mean, for a quick fix, that's not bad. So Content Aware Fill. I don't want to go too much into the Photoshop tech side, but that basically uses its surrounding areas and pieces together the pixels to make it look like step and repeat. And what was your question? Sorry, it was blurring, wasn't it?
Yeah, but then I was also thinking in Lightroom, when you said that might not be that particular distance is not going to be
In sharpness, yeah.
Would you highlight that and then
Bring that back
sharpen
in.
that character?
Not really, because it's out of focus. Yeah. Ideally, you'd want to reshoot it, especially if you're tethering to the computer. You can see that right there and then. And things always look great when you're looking down the lens, and then you get back to the computer, plug it in, and everything looks slightly different. I find it. I don't know if this is anyone who's crossed cameras, but coming from like the mirrorless system, the pictures look so much better on the computer than they do on the camera. I found that on the Canon system, the pictures looked okay, but then they looked okay on the computer. I don't know if that's something that, like, if you've not experienced it, maybe it's just me being really hypercritical. But without going back in, you can't pull focus. There is certain cameras you
The
can.
focus bit, because sometimes when I take pictures, the focus is just on that only on the video.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, it's the f-stop?
That's, yes, so it's a mixture
So
of,
it's two focus, or is it a focus, do I need to change the focus setting?
it's the focal point.
Yeah,
So you've got,
so narrow.
it's so narrow, especially with your 1.8 in your lens, you're going to have like one really pin sharp point, and then the further away in distance that you get from that point, the more out of focus everything's going to come.
You could spot focus it there.
Yeah,
But then that focus is still really, sometimes, I think, well, that's annoying.
you've got one thing sharp. Yeah,
The whole, why can't I get the whole?
Only a slice of the plane is in
That's it.
focus.
Yeah.
You can get an app on your phone that will tell you the exact distance it could be.
So, but really that's just me changing the aperture, is that what you're saying?
yes,
Yeah.
it's making
All your
it.
distance.
Yeah, one or the other. It's like a battle. If you're doing a flat lay, if you see on this one.
Yeah. Well, in a flat lay, you really want it all to be in focus.
Well, ideally yes, because you've not got much depth because
Yeah.
it's that far
But then
from.
sometimes that basil would be in focus and the rest wouldn't.
Yeah. But so we're in this. What was our settings on this one? So this is 5.6, and you can still see like basil's in focus. That's quite a good crop. I'll keep that. It's going on my portfolio then. But you've got the edges of like the bread are still focused, the background's still in focus, and 5.6 when you're shooting there, that long lens we're on the other shot. What you were saying with that plane of focus is very fine line. That's why prime lenses are very good to a point, but if you're shooting things that need a lot of things in focus, you need to be careful that you don't drop off the focus and people. Like you were saying earlier about the group shot you were doing, like a group shot at 1.8 it's not a pretty situation.
Do you use then down the line of the 55 to 200
Yeah.
different lens?
Yeah, again,
Or you just would get into the
I'll stay away from that group shots.
Yeah.
But no, if you're doing something where on a wider lens, you still would need to be mindful of your aperture
Yeah.
to make sure that is playing a good part. So that's pretty much where I would take it. I wouldn't go further away from that. I try to keep my images wider so they can crop if needs be, so they can get like a. Sometimes for Uber they like to do multiple crops out of one image. So the main one is the 1x1 square, which is not that. It is anywhere in that frame. Comfortably, I can say they can quite easily come in on that as well and come like something similar to what we were saying earlier. The other one is like the Facebook banners and Twitter banners, which I think is similar to like a 16:9. They usually send over a load of different sizes, and then they ask me to crop appropriately. So if I know that that's coming in before a shoot, I can sometimes shoot with the edges of the floor in, and then I can reduce that afterwards and still know that I've got the ability to like get a portrait, landscape, a panoramic out of it. And sometimes it's nice when you play around with different crops. Like you didn't realise you had a shot in there that you could make 2 shots out of one. So it's just really being able to sort of take things at face value, making sure that you know that like you're good at what you do. I can still develop a nice set of pictures.
Because it's a bit
When I go back to Asia, I'm going to, once I find a